Now, healthcare practitioners generally by nature are very caring people, and often that makes us absolutely at our core people pleasers. And I see that causing lots of problems for healthcare practitioners in their practice and often in their lives as well. And that's why I wanted to do this video and this blog post, just to talk about the power and the importance of being able to say no and set those boundaries, both for ourselves and for the people around us. Now, saying no is really important because time is the most precious commodity we have. Okay, and if you have your own life priorities, you have family, you have a social life, you have hobbies, you have a business, you have all of this stuff going on that is taking up your time, and the choices you make about whether you say no or yes to certain things, whether that's to yourself, this can be to yourself as well as to other people, the choices that you make as to what you say yes to and what you say no to really dictates the quality of the life that you will have and what you will achieve. And that is why it's so important to think constructively about what you say yes to and what you say no to. Now, before I start, one of the points I want to make here is, if you say yes to something, because we all have 24 hours in a day, if you say yes to something, you are more than likely saying no to something else. And you need to remember that. So every time you say yes, you are saying no to something else, because pretty much all of us have very full days. And so if I say yes to doing something, it means I'm going to have to say no to myself or to somebody else about doing another thing. Okay, so you must remember that every time you say yes, you are probably saying no to something else. So a yes is not always the easy get out, because you could actually be saying no to something that's really important or you would love to do, that kind of thing. So just bear that in mind. So why saying no is important? There's lots of reasons why saying no is important. Now, first of all, it's going to help you manage your time more effectively. If you just keep saying yes, 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 because at your core you're such a people pleaser, you are going to be running yourself ragged. I know quite a few people like this who will, and I am this person to an extent, but you say yes to lots of things, and that means you try and cram more and more and more into your day, which just doesn't work. You end up totally running yourself ragged. So saying no really does help you start to manage your time more effectively. Saying no kind of comes back to that thing about cramming more into your day. Saying no to certain things is actually looking after your best interest and looking after your health. Okay, so saying no to things is actually a way of practicing some self-care and looking after yourself, because if you overburden yourself because you're constantly saying yes to other people, whether that's family, friends, colleagues, patients, it doesn't matter, whoever it is you're saying yes to, you can end up putting yourself in a situation where you feel really pressured, really overburdened and really stressed, and stress is not a good thing. So saying no is a way of practicing self-care and looking after yourself, and that is so important. Saying no is also a really good way of being clear and staying focused on your goals. Okay, so staying focused on your goals, because if you are saying no to somebody so that you can continue doing the work you need to do to move you forward towards your goals, whether that's in life, away from work, or in work, it doesn't matter, but saying no is going to help you stay focused on your goals. Often when you say yes to other people, that's helping you end up helping them achieve their goals, and that takes your eyes off the prize of your goals. So saying no is a really good way of keeping you on track with achieving your goals. Saying no is also a good way for you to take some control of a situation. Because as soon as somebody asks you a favour, could you help me, do you fancy doing, and you immediately kind of go on that guilt trip, and you're immediately kind of going, oh, I'm going to have to. As soon as you say either, oh, can I think about that, or you don't immediately say yes, so you either say, can I think about that, or you say no, you're taking back some control of that situation, and you're not going to let your people pleaser run away with you. You're not going to let that inner voice that desperately wants to be loved and liked by everybody take over. Okay, you're going to put yourself back in control and say either, can I think about it, or no, actually. Is going to help give you some control over those situations that sometimes can just run away with you, and end up in a situation where you say yes, and the minute you say it, you're like, oh no, I didn't want to say that. I really didn't want to say that, and because you've then lost control of that situation. Saying no is also a way of breaking this people-pleasing cycle. As I said, a lot of healthcare practitioners are real people pleasers at heart, and we are often in a total cycle of the fear and the concern that if we say no, we're going to upset people, we're going to get people's backs up and all of that stuff. And you have to start breaking that cycle, because you cannot be a people pleaser your entire life. Otherwise, you end up living somebody else's life and not living your own life. And that is not how to do this game of life, okay? So saying no is a way of starting to break that cycle, break that people-pleasing cycle, and that is a really important thing to do if you are naturally that kind of person. Saying no also helps you stay really clear on your priorities, on the tasks you have to do today, or the relationships you want to nurture, or the things the exciting things you want to do with your day. And saying no, as well as helping you keep your eye on your overarching goal, is also going to help you stay clear on your priorities for today. Because the minute you say yes to somebody else's request, your time becomes shorter in which you can work on the priorities that you already had for that day or that week or that month, whatever it might be. And so saying no is going to help you stay clear and focused on what your priorities are, not what other people's priorities are. Saying no is a really great indicator that you are starting to value your time. And I see this over and over and over again, not just in work with healthcare practitioners, but in life in general. And so many people have a really low value, or put a really low value on their own time. As parents, how much time do you dedicate and devote to your children, to your parents, to friendships, to business meetings that just, it's time you'll never get back? And helping and saying no is a really good indicator that you are starting to really value those 24 hours in a day, and that is a great place to be. The more you say yes, you are demonstrating you don't value your time, okay? And you're giving that message to other people as well. The minute you start saying, actually, no, I can't, or we'll come on to that in a minute, but the minute you start saying no, that's a message to yourself, an indicator to yourself that you are starting to really value your time. Okay, unless the thing that's on offer is something really exciting that you would really love to do and would really like either boost your spirits or give you some adventure or whatever it is. So obviously in that instance you're going to say yes, but on the whole, what I'm talking about in this kind of why it's important to start learning to say no list is often we say yes because we don't value our time. And so if you start to hear yourself saying no more often, that is a really good indicator to yourself that you have started to value your time, and that is a really good thing. Okay, so you've taken a deep breath, you've decided, I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no. How do you say no in a way that maybe eases your guilt a bit, in a way that is not going to allow the other person to misconstrue your reasons for saying no, okay? And I want to make a point here that in saying no to somebody's idea or suggestion is not an outright rejection of that person. Saying no is just saying no to that idea or that thought or that suggestion. It's not a total rejection of that person, unless somebody's asked you to marry them and you say no. That is a rejection, okay? Just so that you know. So if you are saying no to a simple suggestion, idea, thought process, whatever it is, you're just saying no to that thing. You're not saying no to your long-standing relationship with this person. You're not saying no to any future relationship with this person. You're not saying no to them as a person. You're not saying no to their values, their ethics. You know, you're not undermining them as a person. If they choose to interpret you saying no as an outright rejection of them, that is their problem. It's not yours. Okay, I want to make that point really strongly up front before we go on to how we're going to say no. But if they choose to feel rejected by you because you've said no because you didn't want to go to the cinema, that is their issue. It is not your issue. Okay, just want to make that point. Okay, so let's start with how we can say no. So first of all, you can say no and explain the reason. There could be a really valid reason as to why you can't do that thing, or you can't help them with that thing, or you can't contribute to that thing, okay? There could be an absolutely, totally valid reason why. Now, don't make it sound like a weak, feeble excuse. You've got to have a good, solid reason if you're going to use this method. But say no and then explain why you can't do that thing. The second way to say no is to say no, but empathise with their situation. So appreciate that in saying no, you might be upsetting them. Saying no, you might be putting them in a difficult situation. Saying no, you might not be supporting them as best as a friend that you could. So, you know, just empathise with their situation and sort of say no, but then say, oh, but I know that causes you problems. I know that, you know, and be empathetic with the situation once you've said no, okay? Because again, that's just going to soften the blow. That's going to make them see that you actually are genuinely concerned about, you know, how you saying no is impacting on them, and that is an important way, or a simple way of just kind of softening the blow a little bit. The third way is to say no but offer a compromise. So, no, I can't go to the cinema, or I don't want to go to the cinema today, but how about next week, or, you know, or when there's a different film on, I just don't fancy that film, or, you know, so say no, but offer a compromise. And again, you're just softening the blow. It's not such a hard body punch. You're offering them an alternative way to move forward. Number 4, the fourth way to say no is to say no, but then help to provide a solution. Now, it's not your job to provide a solution. So, for example, quite recently I was asked if I would speak at a conference in the UK. I'm in Australia. It's not that straightforward. So I said, no, I'm really sorry, I can't fill that slot for you in that conference, but have you thought about asking so and so and so and so? So I offered them a solution. Me saying no caused them a problem, but I offered them a solution because I kind of had other people I could suggest that they might want to talk to about talking at their conference. So that is the next one, is say no but offer a solution if you saying no is going to cause a problem. Okay, the 5th way to say no is to say no and share your guilt. Okay, so to say no and say, oh, I feel really awful and I know this is letting you down, and just let them see genuinely how you are feeling about saying no. And because again, then they're not going to be as hard, they're not going to be as fierce as they might be feeling inside if you are genuinely feeling guilty or sorry about having to say no. And so share that with them. Just, you know, come clean and say, I'm sorry I can't, but you know, this is how it's making me feel. I feel really bad, I'm really sorry, all that kind of thing. So that is the 5th way of saying no. And my final suggestion for how to say no is to say I don't rather than saying I can't. And I came across this quite recently and I thought, oh, that's quite genius. So you say I don't go to the cinema midweek, or I don't generally see those kind of films, or I don't enjoy going to the cinema. You're saying I don't, and that is much more definitive than saying I can't. I can't makes it sound a bit like a feeble excuse. Okay, I can't go to the cinema on Thursday, or I can't really, like, yeah, it's quite hard to explain one. But anyway, but say I don't do those things. And what that's saying to somebody is you've set standards, you've set limits, you've set boundaries in your life. And so in saying I don't do those things, it's much harder for them to come back and try and persuade you otherwise, because you've actually been quite definitive with how you've said that. I don't do that. So if a patient is saying to you, oh, any chance you could, you know, do a Thursday night appointment? No, I'm sorry, I don't work Thursday nights. Okay, it's kind of a done deal. There's no way for them to come back against that. You've said no, but in a kind of way, like I just don't do that. That's not what I do. I don't work Fridays. I don't do client work on Fridays because of all sorts of problems with time differences and husbands finishing work early and that kind of thing. And I just say to people, I don't work Fridays. I don't do client work on a Friday. As much as they might want me to do a meeting on Friday, I just don't do it, you know. So saying I don't rather than I can't is a much better, softer way of dealing with that situation. So hopefully those top tips on how to say no have given you some ideas and maybe will bolster your confidence when it comes to the next time somebody asks you to do something that you really don't want to do. Okay, so hopefully, as I say, that's given you some ideas, some encouragement, some confidence to start setting those boundaries, saying no more often, and as a result, end up doing more of the stuff you want to be doing, enjoy doing, fulfill your life, keep you going towards your own goals. If you have any questions, please put them in the box below this video. If you're watching this video anywhere else other than on my blog, please go to the link below this video for the blog post at jillwoods.com/blog, because there's more information about the whole no thing inside that blog post. I want to say thank you very much for joining me. As I say, I hope you found this a worthwhile use of your time. If you would like to get notifications about more of this kind of stuff, where I do marketing and mindset stuff, please subscribe to my channel. Click the red button, the red subscribe button, and then click the bell. If you click the bell, you'll get the notifications. So thank you for your time, and I will be back here next week with some more marketing and mindset for you. Take care. Bye.